Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? I hope you all had a great weekend. We had a fun weekend of baseball, non-stop action this past weekend. What a day today. We also got some news on Anthony Rendon. I got an announcement in this stream. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Baseball fans, how you doing? Hello. Over 100 people in the chat to start things off. How you doing, everyone? You know, I wasn't too sure if I was going to go live tonight, and here is the main reason. Because I'm a wrestling fan. You know, I don't keep up with it as much as I used to, but as a kid, I loved wrestling. I was so into The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Triple H. The Attitude Era of wrestling was the absolute best. Now, I don't keep up with it as much as I did when I was a kid. Man, every Monday night, 9 o'clock, Monday Night Raw coming on. Then you had SmackDown on Thursdays. It was the best. But you're probably wondering, why am I talking about wrestling? Well, WrestleMania is on. It's always a nostalgic thing for me. I always got WrestleMania on every single year. Now, like I said, I don't really keep up with it like I used to. But, you know, still some pretty good stuff, I would say. I don't think it's as good as it used to be, but hey, I gotta watch WrestleMania. I actually thought about just not doing the stream and, you know, give myself my once-a-year WrestleMania night. But you know what? There's too much to talk about. We gotta keep it rolling here on the channel. All the moderators, thank you for stopping by. All the members, thank you for stopping by. Do appreciate it. But we have a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of action from this past weekend. Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, absolute bombs today. My Red Sox were rather fun to watch this weekend. Oh, what a game that was yesterday, man. Adam Duvall is an absolute machine. I'll talk about him in just a little bit. But speaking of the Angels, we will talk about Anthony Rendon. There was an altercation with Anthony Rendon and a fan this past weekend. I'm going to dive into that. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that and a whole lot else. I'm going to go through every series from this past weekend, kind of just give you, just some quick thoughts on everything. And also, around the midpoint of the stream tonight, I do have an announcement. We have a new partner here on the channel. I'm really excited to talk about it. I'm pretty excited, not gonna lie. I actually did make a video about it. If you want to go take a look at who that partner is, you can go take a look. I just uploaded it a couple hours ago, so I have a video breaking it all down. So go take a look at that, or if not, you can just wait for me to talk about it in just a little bit. But what else was going on today? Kadai Senga with his debut today. That was fun. Some of his stuff, man, looked just so nasty. I was saying that the whole offseason, saying, Senga, sure, you don't really know what you're going to get. You never really know with these guys from Japan, but I feel like, we've only had like really a couple that just have not worked out, like Kei Igawa, the legendary New York Yankee Kei Igawa. That was a fun one. But I feel like for the most part, pitchers have worked out for the most part. But Senga, when I'm just looking at his stuff on the YouTubes and just seeing what he was doing over there in Japan, I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy's going to be good. Now, I'm not quite sure what the results were going to be, but I knew he would have some success, and he looked really good today against the Marlins. How about those Marlins jerseys on Friday? Oof. Mwah. We need teams to start doing like these retro sort of jerseys, like kind of old school, but mix in the new school with it. It's funny how these jerseys and like old school retro looks, mainly from around that time, like the 90s, like the Rays jerseys, right? The Devil Rays jerseys, they kind of It's an old school look, but they put like a new school sort of a flair to it. We need teams to start doing that. I love that. Marlins, seriously, great job bringing back those retro looking jerseys. Anyway, let's get to it here. I'm just rambling on and on, but if you are new to the channel, think about subscribing down below. We're trying to get to 30K by the All-Star break. We are within 700 subscribers of that goal. Hit the like button for me. That way it gets out here in the algorithm. And hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single night. Share the stream as well. Don't forget, we are presented tonight by BetOnline, your number one source for all your sports betting needs. If you are into the sports betting game, go check it out. They got a lot of good contests over there, especially with Major League Baseball back. You still got basketball. You got the championship game for college basketball coming up. What is that? Tomorrow? I think that's tomorrow. And then bet online as well. You can also even bet on UFC, any type of MMA contest. Go check it out. Use the code BLEAV, and you get a 50% welcome bonus. And don't forget, we are partners here with SeatGeek. Use my code Hyde, $20 off if you're looking to go to a game. Absolutely take advantage of my code. All right, here we go. Enough of me rambling on about random stuff. Let's actually get to the action from this past weekend. Let's get the music going. Let's just get the vibes right. Again, I hope everyone's having a great weekend. I hope you all had some fun. I hope some of you are watching WrestleMania. We got Edge and Finn Balor coming on. Hell in a Cell. Oh, yeah. I love saying that, man. Love saying it. Actually, there is some news about the WWE. I know this is a baseball show, but this is actually some pretty big news. WWE, it looks like they are on the edge of being sold to Endeavor, the company that bought UFC. So for any of you that are, kind of into UFC and whatnot, it looks like the WWE and UFC are going to be partnering up, and they're going to be one company. So I know that's not baseball news, but I still think that's pretty interesting sports news overall. So take that for what it's worth. And also, Vince McMahon has a mustache now. That was pretty interesting. I saw a picture of that. Anyway, let's get to it here. Alrighty, here we go. The music is on. Which one? We got the Phillies. We got the Rangers. That was on ESPN tonight. And let's just kind of go through this game. It looks like the Rangers hung on for this one. It was a 2-1 final. Man, oh man, the Rangers bats have been absolutely nuts. And tonight, the pitching came through for the Rangers. That was the story for the Texas Rangers. Now, Martin Perez, I wasn't really sure what was going to be going on with him, this year. Had a really good year last year. And I was like, man, with my Red Sox, he was just, he had like one stretch where he looked really good. A couple appearances here and there. He looked all right. But last year was a really good season for him. And I just wasn't really sure if he was going to be able to keep it going. But the Rangers are doing something right with Martin Perez. He got the win here. The Phillies got a lot of hits. They left a lot of runners on tonight. But the Rangers able to come through. Josh Young looks like, I wasn't fully keeping track of this game because I was getting ready for the stream tonight. But it looks like his home run was the difference. But Martin Perez, actually, he gave up 8 hits, but he did strike out 7. He was able to work around this Phillies lineup, which is pretty good. But yeah, Josh Young with the home run tonight, 1 for 3 RBI and a run scored. Hernandez for the Rangers going an inning and a third, or inning and 2/3 tonight. That was big for this bullpen. But the Rangers just absolutely put up some runs, man. 27 runs through the first 2 games. They scored 16 on Saturday, 11 on opening day. That is absolutely nuts. Mitch Garver, couple of home runs, 6 RBIs over the weekend. Grossman had the big day on opening day. Adolis Garcia, 5 hits so far this season. Lowe, Semien, they each got 4 hits. Seager with 3. Evaldi, he pitched pretty well yesterday. Looked all right. There was a controversial strikeout. I believe that was with Brandon Marsh. Marsh was none too happy about it. But you know what? Nathan Evaldi, Red Sox legend. What can I say? I think he went 5 innings around, roughly. I think he gave up like 3 runs, if my memory serves me correctly. But yeah, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, they don't look quite there yet. They look like they're maybe a couple of starts away from really finding their rhythm. They just got hit around by this Rangers lineup. Now, is that more the Rangers lineup, or is that more the Phillies pitching? Could it be a bit of both? I usually like to think it's always a combination of things. But either way, the Rangers bats, and they're looking good, man. They just took it to the National League champions from last year. Granted, it's at home, but could this be a preview of the Rangers for this season? Are they serious? Are they here to play? You know, a lot of people think the Rangers are not quite there yet. The big issue with me was the starting pitching health, not the talent. The starting pitching can absolutely get it done, but the health of the starting pitching, how durable are they going to be? That is something we're just going to have to keep an eye out for. But the bullpen is a little iffy to me. If these guys can step up in the bullpen, they can solidify their roles. This Rangers team could be absolutely scary. Could they be a shocker team that could maybe somehow, some way, maybe take this division? I know. Don't get crazy with me. I'm just saying we've seen crazy things before. I don't think so. Probably not. But could they go for a wild card? I mean, if they can keep up, this kind of play, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be scoring all these runs every single game, but I don't know. They found a way to take it to the National League champions here over the first weekend of the season. Got to keep your eyes on the Rangers for this year. But speaking of the National League champion, Phillies, let's talk about the World Series champion, Houston Astros. They had a fun weekend this past weekend. They were giving out rings. They were giving out awards for, silver sluggers, gold gloves, and so on. And, man, if you're an Astros fan and you went to some games this weekend, you had to have some fun, man. They had the, gold all over the place on opening day. But I'll tell you, sure, the Astros, they had a fun game Saturday with Yordan Alvarez, with the home run, or not the home run, sorry, the double to give the Astros the eventual win. But this White Sox team, man, they had some fight in them. Sure, they split the series, but this is a good Astros team. And this White Sox team, they looked like a team that is going to be in contention. They just kind of gave you these vibes. They had some fight to them. They had some offense. They were pitching well. Man, I just really liked a lot about this White Sox team this past weekend. But again, it was a series split. One guy who I was talking about coming into this season was Yoel Moncada. And this guy is off to a pretty good start. Has a home run, couple of doubles. He had a home run yesterday. He had a home run today and a couple doubles today. A home run yesterday. He's looking pretty good so far, man. Yoel Moncada, he had a big season in 2019. I'm looking for a good season again for Moncada. It feels like he hasn't really done all that much in the last couple of years. Speaking of guys that haven't done all that well in the last couple of years, how about Mike Clevinger? Mike Clevinger, man, looked pretty good today. 8 strikeouts over 5 innings. Not too bad for his debut with the White Sox. Lance Lynn looked pretty good this past weekend as well. Also, Lucas Giolito looked pretty good too, Hey, man, this White Sox pitching, they're really stepping up. You know who else is stepping up? Yasmani Grandal. Bad season last year, but he is looking pretty good. He's got 5 hits and 12 ABs. Could he be a candidate for comeback player of the year? He had an absolutely abysmal season last year, man. I'm really looking to see what he can do. I felt like that was a big problem for the White Sox last year. His bat was just basically non-existent. And, hey, if Grandal is hitting, man, and you got these other guys hitting, this lineup, man, watch out. But the Astros did win 2 games in this series. Friday, they got their rings. They scored 3 in the 7th inning after getting those rings. And Alvarez had the go-ahead double, like I mentioned, to give the Astros the win. On Saturday, individual players were getting their awards. Guys like Kyle Tucker, McCormick, Pena, Alvarez, like I just mentioned before, and Abreu all contributing in that win. But overall, a really just good series, a competitive series from both teams, man. It almost felt like a playoff matchup. For the first series of the year, it just had like that feeling to it, man. Both of these teams just looked like they were just going at it. I like that, man. I like that the White Sox, they're looking like they're showing some fight. And, hey, let's see what they can do this year. I picked them to win the Central. Let's see if they can keep up this solid play. Let's move on here. Let's talk about the Angels and the A's from this past weekend. And, hey, man, Look at the Angels. I know it's the A's. I know. But, man, Angels were looking pretty decent. Ohtani, Trout hitting absolute bombs. I'm going to be honest. I missed Trout's home run, but I just got there in time to see Ohtani just absolutely shellac one. Like, oh my goodness. Ohtani's a freak, man. I don't know if people are, like, has that word ever been used about Ohtani? Like, I don't know. I've never really heard anyone call him a freak, but this dude is like a freak of nature. It's crazy. Dude's throwing like 100 miles an hour. He's hitting absolute bombs. Like, my goodness, man. It is, when those two are doing this kind of stuff, they're just fun to watch, man. You got to love it. But the Angels, they looked pretty good, man. They lost opening night. That was kind of a bummer, man. You know, hey, good for the A's, you know. Opening night, getting the win. Got to love that. But then it was the Angels taking over for the next couple of games. Urshela, looking pretty good. Going a combined 6 for 10, 6 RBIs on Saturday. They led the offense there. But Patrick Sandoval, Tyler Anderson, they looked really good this past weekend. I'm telling you, this Angels starting pitching, it's extremely underrated. I feel like people are not giving this Angels starting pitching a lot of attention. I don't think a lot of people realize how good the starting pitching is. They think of the Angels starting pitching of just Ohtani. But when you got Sandoval, Anderson's a gamer, man. I really like him. When he went to the Dodgers, he just figured something out. And it looks, hey, based off of how he looked this weekend, looking pretty good. Now we're going to have to see how he does against some better teams. But overall, just really like the way the Angels looked. Sure, a bummer of a game the first night, but the next two looked exactly how they should look against the Oakland A's. However, there is some not so good news coming out of Angel Land, and that's Anthony Rendon. He got into a bit of an altercation this past weekend. There is a video on Twitter. There's some language in it. I'm not going to play that because this is a family-friendly show. I'm not going to play the derogatory words said from Anthony Rendon. But basically, a fan in Oakland, which I'm not surprised. I've been to the Oakland Coliseum before. Those fans, the fans that still actually go to the games, they can get pretty rowdy, man. Those are dedicated A's fans, and they like to speak their mind in the stands. I definitely, when I went there back in 2006, I heard a lot of A's fans just saying how they felt in that one. So I remember, I think it was Curt Schilling pitched that game. I think Jason Varitek hit a home run that game that ended up, the Red Sox ended up, I don't remember if it was a blowout, but I remember the Red Sox scored quite a few runs at the end of that game. And but A's fans were none too happy. A lot of cursing at that moment. But little old me, what was it, 15, 16 years old at that time. So, but getting back to this, I guess there was a fan in the stands that said Anthony Rendon was, I'm not going to say the word, either way, whatever. It's a family-friendly show, but called him a not-so-nice word. And Anthony Rendon heard it, and as you can see here in the pictures, he grabbed a fan. I guess he, according to Rendon, he saw the fan say it, and he pulled him in, and he's like saying, "What'd you say? Oh, yeah, I heard you. You called me a blah, blah, blah." And the fan was basically denying it, and Anthony Rendon was basically saying, "Yeah, you did, you know," and blah, blah, blah. And then this is, listen, I'm not a fan of, listen, I'm all about fans in the stands getting rowdy. I'm all about them being passionate about their team. I'm not a fan of people in the stands, you know, using derogatory terms towards players. At the end of the day, this is their job. At the end of the day, like, I know I'm not a baseball player by any means. I'm not an athlete by any means, but the last thing I want is someone, you know, calling me stuff, you know, whatever. Say what you will about, like, my game. Say I suck, you know, say this, say that, say I'm garbage, you know, say I couldn't hit a brick wall. But, you know, I don't know, the name calling, it is what, you know, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not going to go to a game and, you know, start calling people names. That's just not my nature. But I understand. It happens. I get it. Also, another reason why I don't like using language like that is because there are kids around. You know, I'm a teacher. Sorry, maybe I'm a little biased here, but I'm not using language like that at games, especially towards players and yelling it. A lot of this game is for the kids, and that's a big deal to me personally. Sure, he could have said way worse things, so it's not it's not a great word to say anyway. Whatever. You can go read about it. But here was the problem. Anthony Rendon, he did a couple of things wrong here, right? First off, he grabbed the guy. Sorry, man. You can't be laying your hands on someone. Like, you can't do it. At the end of the day, sure, this guy could say something to you, whatever, but you can't be putting your hands on fans. Remember the Ron Artest thing back with the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons running into the stands? That was pretty brutal. That was probably the worst player-fan altercation of all time. I don't think anything is ever going to beat that. I still remember waking up to that morning. I remember I fell asleep. I think I was in like 9th grade at the time. I always used to fall asleep to Sports Center when it was good. And I remember waking up to that. And I'm like, what the heck happened in this game? And, Ron Artest, like, going in the fans and tackling a dude. And then it was, like, just punches being thrown. It was like, what the heck? It was crazy. What was it called? The Malice at the Palace is what they called it. But either way, you can't be putting your hands on fans. Like, you shouldn't be putting your hands on anyone. Let's be pretty clear about that. Here's what Anthony Rendon should have done. Sure, whatever. Let's say a guy wants to call you something in the stands. Let's say he wants to, start cursing at you from the stands. All right. Instead of confronting the man, with your hands. First off, you could have just walked by and just said something back. That would have been fine. The problem is he put his hands on him. Oh, and then he took a swipe at him. He tried to hit him, and he missed. So that didn't work out. So Rendon did not look good here, at least in my opinion. That's just my own personal opinion. I'm welcome to other opinions as well. But me personally, I don't think you should be going after fans. But I also get it too. Maybe this fan shouldn't be saying stuff to Anthony Rendon. However, fans are fans. They are what they are. I'm not going to use that kind of language towards players, especially when they're walking by. That's just not my nature. I feel like I'm a gentleman. I'm a gentleman. I don't want to be saying those kind of things. But Anthony Rendon, he needs to do his talking on the field, right? Let his bat do the talking. That's what he needs to be doing. If he wants to, that's the best, right? That's when you got people yelling at you and saying stuff to you. It is the best when you just like hit a homer and you make people shut up. That's the best, man. Listen, if you go back 2013, Alex Rodriguez, right? Remember that whole thing when he was going through the whole suspension thing and he was appealing it and he was still playing? Remember when Ryan Dempster threw at him? I'm going to be honest. I think the brushback, fine, okay. That remember when Ryan Dempster, I think he threw behind him to kind of send a message, but then he threw at him again and then he hit him, right? That one I was just like, all right, come on now. What are we doing? Like, I get it. Guys maybe felt a certain type of way, but A-Rod in that game, remember the whole world hated A-Rod at that point. Everyone was saying something about Alex Rodriguez at that time. Everyone. What did A-Rod do? He didn't say anything back. He didn't go after anyone. He didn't even charge the mound with Ryan Dempster. He didn't even do anything. He kept his cool. And what did A-Rod do in that game? Hit a home run off of him. I'm going to be honest. As a Red Sox fan, I'm like, oh, man. I mean, A-Rod got us there. Sure. Yeah, I felt a certain type of way about A-Rod too. But when he hit that homer, I'm thinking, all right. Hey, good for him. He had everyone yelling at him. He hit this home run. Him running around those bases had to be the best feeling in the world. Just basically putting up a middle finger to the entire world in that game. That's how Anthony Rendon should have done this, right? I understand Anthony Rendon is still, with him, he's been going through a lot the last couple of years. He had the wrist injury last year. He's basically been one of the worst contracts in Major League Baseball over the last couple of years. 2020, in that shortened season, he was actually pretty good that year. But 2021, 22. He's only played around like a combined, like around 100 games, right? So he's been going through it the last couple of years. I get it. He's frustrated. He probably wants to just so badly do well. And I understand if he got a little sensitive here. You know, I can understand from his point of view. This guy's pressing, you know, whatever. And I think that is probably where it's coming from. This guy just wants to live up to that contract. At the end of the day, though, violence is never the answer. It's just not. It's never the answer. I always tell my students, I always tell them this lesson. The first one to get angry loses. You got to keep your cool. If you're in an argument with someone, if you're having a fight with someone, first one to get angry loses every single time. You got to keep your cool, right? Anthony Rendon lost in this situation, in my personal opinion. And but now, let's actually get to what's going on about it. Now, actually, the police, Major League Baseball is investigating it. But now the police, the Oakland Police Department, they are actually investigating it. So I'm not sure what's going to come of it. You know, this isn't anywhere near the Malice at the Palace kind of a situation. But it's pretty interesting that the police are getting involved. So they're basically just saying, you know, they've watched the video and they're just actively investigating. My guess is Anthony Rendon is going to get suspended for this. I don't see why you would not suspend him here. You can't be putting your hands on the fans. If you don't suspend him, you're basically saying it's okay to put your hands on the fans. I don't see him not getting suspended. I think that's going to happen. It's just a matter of how long is it going to be. I could honestly see at least 10 games. I could definitely see, 10, 15, maybe 20, But Rendon, hopefully, I see Josh Lopez. He might be suspended 1 game. I don't know, man. I think that might be a little short, because I think you need to kind of set the tone with this. Like, you can't just do something light like that. I think even 5 games might be a little light. I think it has to be at least 10. Because you just can't do that. Like, that's just, like I said, you just shouldn't be putting your hands on people in the first place, right? Words, sure. Words can be pretty lame sometimes with what people have to say. But when it comes to violence, when it comes to, putting your hands on people, it's not the right thing to do, And, I'm not siding with the fan. I think they're both in the wrong. But Rendon, I think he took it a little further than he should have. I mean, to me, and that's another thing too, if I'm getting paid what Anthony Rendon is getting paid, I understand, like, this guy wants to do well, but the last thing that's going to bother me is just someone just saying something about me, because it's like, all right, cool, I'm going to go get my paycheck here for however freaking much it is, and I'm going to go be happy. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Either way, we're going to have to keep our eyes on this. We don't have any word, really, of what's going to happen. But let's move on. As for the Angels, looking pretty good against Oakland. Looking pretty good. They are letting their bats do the talking in this series. So let's move on really quick. Let's touch on the Twins and the Royals. The big one coming out of the Twins and the Royals today. We had a Joey Gallo sighting today. A couple of homers. I'm telling you, Joey Gallo is going to kill it this year. He's out of New York. This is a guy, it's just one of those things. He's just one of these players that he's not going to do well in a big market like New York. I think when you put him somewhere like Texas, somewhere, even LA, he seemed to do a little bit better there, right? People love baseball with the Dodgers. Dodger fans, very passionate. But there's a little bit more of a laid-back sort of an attitude out there, whereas in New York, everyone's just a diehard. It's a different feel, with the two fan bases there. And even Gallo, he did a little better with the Dodgers. I mean, he didn't do amazing, but he did a slightly better job with them. But now, going to Minnesota, he's kind of away from the noise. He's not worrying about the media so much. He can just kind of focus on being Joey Gallo. A couple of home runs for him today. 3 for 4, 2 home runs. Had a double as well, 4 RBIs. This is the Joey Gallo that I remember. This is the one that everyone got excited about when he went to the Yankees, right? So I'm expecting more of this. Not surprised. I'm seeing a big season out of him. Joe Ryan looked really good today. 6 innings, only gave up 3 hits, 6 strikeouts. Larnach as well, going for 3 for 4 today with an RBI. Taking a look elsewhere. Sonny Gray also pitched really well this Saturday. 5 innings, 3 hits allowed. The pitching right now is looking pretty good for the Minnesota Twins. Off to a 3-0 start, sweeping the Royals to start off their season. You can't be mad about that. Let's move on to the Tigers and the Rays. The Tigers are not looking very good. Just like the Royals, they got swept this weekend as well. I mean, I think we all can expect the Tigers, the Royals, they're going to be at the bottom of this division, and it shows. The Rays off to a great start, 3-0. Jeffrey Springs got the win today in his season debut. Randy Arozarena is fun. He is awesome, man. I really hope, as a Red Sox fan, I don't hope it, but I really want Arozarena to just be like an MVP contender. I feel like he has that ability. He can hit for power. He's got speed. This is a dynamic player. I really want to see like just him take the next step this year, and he's looking pretty good so far. He got fun energy out there. He's doing the arm cross thing. I love it. I love what I'm seeing from Arozarena. We were seeing how fun he was in the World Baseball Classic. Loving what I'm seeing from him so far. The Rays absolutely shellacked the Tigers on Saturday, 12-2. Wander Franco, Diaz, they just went off this past weekend. Zach Eflin also had his debut this past weekend. Looked pretty good through 5 innings. Zach Eflin off to a good start in his Tampa Bay Rays career. Let's stay in the American League East, shall we? Let's talk my Red Sox. Oh, they looked fun this weekend, man. That was not a fun day on opening day. And, they came back in the end. They were looking like maybe they could have closed the gap. But in the end, they just couldn't get it done. Who just won it? Did Edge just win? Edge and Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell. Is it over? I just missed it. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, but bummer of an opening day. At least they showed some fight. I was really excited about that. But Saturday, it was looking like a kind of a dreary day. Chris Sale, he looked awful. Like he's got some work to do. And he even said himself, it was the most embarrassed he has ever felt on the mound. And that's saying something, Hopefully he gets himself right. He gave up 7 runs. He gave up a tater tot to Cedric Mullins. Guys were just teeing off of him. He looked pretty sharp at times. Like the slider had some bite to it. Fastball had some zip to it. I think it's just a matter of just getting his command fully right, not leaving stuff completely over the plate. He's not this overpowering guy anymore. And I feel like I don't know if he's trying to pitch like that, but it almost feels like he's still trying to have that same mentality. He can't blow stuff by guys anymore. It's not going to work. 2017, when he was striking out guys left and right, yeah, that guy had some oomph to him. He's going to have to, I think, readjust now. He's got to work a little bit more on, control, command. His velocity's still good, but these guys are hitting velocity now, right? Sale, he can't get away with that kind of stuff. His stuff is not what it was prior. It's still good, though. And I think he just really needs to just kind of approach it a different way. I just don't think he's this guy anymore that's just going to be able to pump fastballs by guys and, make guys look silly on sliders like Manny Machado in the World Series. I don't know, maybe some games he could still look like that, but I feel like he's going to have to take a bit of a different approach, and he's definitely going to have to hit more spots, and I think that's going to be the big key for him. But the offense, wow, this offense looked fantastic this weekend. Wow, 27 runs in the first 3 games of the season. Now, I was worried about the Orioles starting pitching coming in, so right now that is, proving me right a little bit. But man, there's something about this Red Sox lineup where they are just really tough. Like every at bat, you got someone that can do something. That wasn't the lineup last year. You had holes in the lineup last year, guys that were just getting outs, right? This lineup, even without Xander Bogaerts, I'm going to be honest with you. This might not be a popular opinion. I think this lineup is better without Xander Bogaerts. Now, if it was like last year without Xander Bogaerts, okay, yeah, that's a problem. But they've added guys in this offseason. Yoshida, Duvall. I'll get to Duvall in just a second. You got Casas in this lineup now, who's just always he's going to be a tough at bat no matter what. This is a guy, he takes so many pitches. It's so hard to pitch to Tristan Casas. And if you leave one over the plate with him, he's going to do damage on it. Casas is going to be good this year. But you got guys up and down this lineup for the Red Sox that are tough ABs, and they really showed it this past weekend. Guys were just making things happen. Verdugo looked pretty good this past weekend. Loved what he was doing. But man, oh man, Adam Duvall is proving Chaim Bloom right in so many ways. It is... wow. When that signing happened, I'm thinking this is basically Hunter Renfroe with better defense, right? Hunter Renfroe with center field defense, right? By the way, speaking of Hunter Renfroe, did you see the catch that he made on the first game? What the heck was that? I have never seen a catch like that. Hunter Renfroe, holy crap. I want to play it. I don't like to play videos on here because I'm always afraid of copyright. But go look at the Hunter Renfroe catch. This dude did a no-look catch with his back turned. What the heck? Holy crap, that was nuts. Yes, I see you, Josh Lopez. You're saying catch of the year. I think it was. I don't think there's going to be anything. I've seen so many diving catches. That Hunter, the way he caught the ball was just ridiculous. I've never seen anyone catch it like that. But anyway, getting back to the Red Sox, Adam Duvall is a machine at Fenway Park. I saw that coming in. This dude is just built for Fenway Park. He's shown it in the past with the Braves over the last couple of years. But, man, walk-off home run on Saturday. It didn't clear the monster. It went into that divot, kind of like how the DVD, the corner, right? When the DVD logo is bouncing around, it kind of just went perfectly into that corner. But, wow, and also the Red Sox, their lights are flashing. They got LED lights now, and they had the walk-off, and there was just all the lights flashing. That was cool. That was awesome. Hey, Red Sox, hey, good for you guys because you needed to add something like that, man. That was neat. But Duvall, 14 ABs, 8 hits in 14 ABs, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. Wow. He's just going off right now. You know, it's funny, too, because the Orioles could have won that game, or was there 2 outs? I can't remember. But the guy dropped a pop. I think it was 2 outs. I think it would have been the end of the game. But he dropped the pop-up. And, of course, it led to the Adam Duvall game-winning home run. But as for the pitching, this offense looked amazing. Sale looked bad today, but yesterday, but the bullpen looked really good after him. Look out for Josh Winkowski. I think this is a guy that could have a role with the Red Sox this year. He's got really good stuff. He's got a sinker that can move. He's got decent movement on his pitches. I think this is a guy that can really help out in the Red Sox bullpen this year. Schreiber last year stepped up for the Red Sox. I feel like Winkowski could be that guy for the Red Sox this year. Really good stuff coming out of his hand today. But Schreiber did pitch well. Martin, Jansen, they kept the game close. Tanner Houck looked okay today, and the bullpen did enough today. But for the Orioles, Austin Hayes. Hey, big weekend for him. He had 5 hits and a homer on Saturday. Cedric Mullins, like I mentioned, homered off Sale, 3 RBIs and a homer. Adam Frazier. I feel like Adam Frazier just always does well at Fenway Park. I feel like last year he had a home run at Fenway. I can't remember, but he had a home run today. Went 3 for 4. The Orioles, hey, they're looking all right too, but the pitching just isn't quite there. Overall, I'm just really excited about my Red Sox right now. I know I'm showing my giraffe neck Robbie right now, but I'm very, very excited about them. And they got the Pirates coming up for a few games. That's a winnable series. If the Red Sox can just get hot, oof. Look out, man. Look out. Let's go to the Yankees and the Giants. And the Yankees pitching looked absolutely fantastic today. How about the debut of Johnny? Is it Johnny Brito or Johnny Brito? I know I'm probably botching that. Whatever. But he looked really good today. 5 innings, 6 Ks in his major league debut. But Giancarlo Stanton, man, he had a bomb today. Whatever. Let's just play it here. Major League Baseball, you better not copyright me. I swear. You better not copyright me. This dude hit a bomb to dead center field. Where did it land? I don't know where it landed. It went up here. Like, what in the heck? He is just a monster, man. 117 miles an hour on the exit velocity. What the heck is going on? 485 feet. Man, that's crazy. Aaron Judge had a home run as well. Hit it to left center. I'm telling you, man, if this Yankees team, they're doing these kind of things and they're pitching well, man, look out for this Yankee team, man. But the Giants did get the win on Saturday. Brandon Crawford, Jock Peterson, they each homered. Clark Schmidt, he labored. He didn't look terrible, but he had some problems against this Giants lineup, which in my opinion is not amazing by any means, and he really struggled. So Clark Schmidt, he's going to have to get it turned around a little bit. But this Yankees team, hey, winning 2 out of the 3. They look good here. They look good. Garrett Cole looked really good on opening day. Had the debut of, again, is it Brito? I'm going to say Brito. Is it Brito? I'm going to say Brito. But he looked good today, 5 innings. That's what the Yankees are going to need here until they get these guys, coming back from injuries. Rodon, how long is it going to be until he comes back? Hopefully not too long for their sake. You got some other guys on the IL as well. But the Yankees, this is what they need to do. They're just going to have to find ways to win series, find ways to win games. Even Donaldson looked better this past weekend. Donaldson showing some signs. Maybe there's still some life in that bat. Look out for Josh Donaldson. But here we go. Oh, here we go. I see it. I see the new nickname for Johnny Brito. Johnny Burrito. I love it. Johnny Burrito. Can we make that a thing? We got Johnny Lasagna, right? Now we got Johnny Burrito. I love this. Well, come on. Come on, Yankee fans. That's good. It's good. It's good. Here we go. Let's go to the other side of New York. Let's go to the Mets and the Marlins. How about Kadai Senga? Man, oh man, he was looking good today. Pretty sure he was throwing some of those fork balls, the ghost fork, or whatever they like to call it. But his stuff was looking really good. Man, he was fun to watch. I was kind of popping it in and out of this game on MLB TV. And, man, some of the stuff looked really good. He looked a little shaky early on, but once he settled in, he looked pretty good. Ended up striking out 8 going into the 6th inning. Only give up 3 hits overall. Red Sox legend Tommy Pham going 3 for 4 today with a homer. He looked good for the Mets. But overall, things are looking good in Metland. Hey, got some injuries there. Justin Verlander on the shelf for a little bit. Edwin Diaz gone for the season. Rest in peace. My goodness, Edwin Diaz. I still can't believe that happened. Man, my goodness. But, hey, Mets are looking pretty good so far. And they went up against some pretty good pitching with the Marlins in this series. So, hey, the Mets are rolling. I'm going to say here for the Marlins, though. Wow. The Marlins jerseys. Oh, my. These are some of the best. I can't type. I have fat fingers. Ugh. Fat fingers are a problem. Look at these jerseys. These are awesome. Look at Jazz Chisholm wearing this thing. Are you kidding me? This is awesome. This is what teams need to do. The Marlins, hey, they might not be playing all that great over the last couple of years, but they are doing good things when it comes to jerseys. You had the City Connect jersey, and now you got the Friday night jersey. Come on. Teams need to be doing this. Bring retro looks back. That's what you need. Even if you want to do it on Friday nights, For my Red Sox, you don't really have anything cool looking because I've had the same jersey forever, and the Yankees too. But man, I love it, man. I wish more teams would do this. I want to see the Diamondbacks wear their early 2000s jerseys more often. I'm just saying, there's some good-looking jerseys. I got to kind of go back into the early 2000s, kind of look at, who are some other teams that have changed their jerseys, like the Rays are wearing the Devil Ray jerseys. Man, what other teams out there have changed their jersey? I feel like the Royals, didn't they have a different jersey at that time? I can't remember. I got to go back. But Marlins, that is an absolute win, bringing this jersey back. It looks absolutely fantastic. But for the Marlins, They got a win in this series. Luzardo looked really good. He went to the 6th inning on Friday. Only gave up 2 hits, 5 2/3. No runs allowed. Jorge Soler with a home run. Cooper went 3 for 4 with a triple. So some good news for the Marlins from this past weekend. Yesterday, Tyler McGill stepping up. I think he took the place of Justin Verlander. And, went 5 innings, only gave up 2 runs. Mark Canha with a home run. Pete Alonso went 2 for 3. The Mets are looking good right now. Everything is looking pretty good for the Mets coming up. Who do the Mets have? Let's actually... Who do they got next? That's probably something I should start mentioning. Who do these teams play next? Who do the Mets got? Come on. What's going on? Oh, Mets and Brewers. That's pretty good. So you got Carrasco against Peralta tomorrow. Then you got Scherzer and Miley on Tuesday. Then you got David Peterson and Corbin Burns on Wednesday. Is that a 3-game series? Nope. That is a 3-game series. And then back to the Marlins again in New York. Oh, the Mets aren't even going to be at home for a little bit. So they got another series on the road, and then they're going back to Queens. So that should be some good energy that night. It's a Thursday. So, but all right. Moving on here. Oh, you know what, actually? Hold on, everyone. I want to actually take a quick break because I do have an announcement. I guess I've already kind of announced it. I made a post on the community tab where I announced it, and I made a video earlier. If you haven't seen it, go check it out where I kind of break it all down. It's about 10 minutes long, just kind of break down everything. But we do have a new partner on this channel. I am really excited about it. It's really cool. It's an awesome opportunity. And this is a company that I think is actually pretty neat. I hadn't heard really anything about them until maybe a few weeks ago. And I was looking at their stuff. I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty decent. As you all know, I'm into fantasy baseball. Don't stream and draft at the same time. I think I learned my lesson that wasn't, my potato brain couldn't handle that very much, but love fantasy baseball. And I found a new form of fantasy baseball, and that is Sorare. Now, they were mainly into soccer at first, but now they have really grown, and they have made their reach known with Major League Baseball. It's an officially licensed company with Major League Baseball. It's basically fantasy baseball where you can, let me actually just share the screen. It's basically fantasy baseball with cards. And if you go take a look here, you can draft your team. It's completely free to get started. Now, if we go take a look here, my team so far, now I have a couple of different teams here. So this is just one of them. So you can have all these different types of cards, right? You can have common cards. Those are the ones that you initially draft. These are ones you can't sell. You can't trade these. You can't buy these either. These are the cards that you first start out with. But you can buy cards. You can also sell cards. But basically, you can purchase cards that can make your team better, or you could win cards as well. So basically, just like fantasy baseball, you're competing against other teams throughout the world. You enter tournaments. There are tournaments, like tougher tournaments that you can enter, but there are certain requirements. There are different types of cards that you play with. So you have the common cards, you have limited cards, you have rare cards, and so on. And so different tournaments have different requirements where you can only play with certain cards. But you can play completely for free. And the more you win, the better the cards and the rewards that you can earn. So it's a really cool concept. It's a little different from the common fantasy baseball. It is fantasy baseball. It just has a bit of a different feel to it, where basically if you enter your team in the common all-star tournament, you can, if you finish in the top 100, you basically can win a limited card. So I'm just saying, it's a pretty awesome form of fantasy baseball. It's not the common fantasy baseball that we're used to, like with ESPN or like Yahoo or CBS or whatever. Just a bit of a different feel where these where you're using cards basically. And that's another thing too. When you win cards or you buy cards, they're yours. Like you own them, right? They will be yours forever. You can use them next season and so on. So really cool concept. Absolutely go check it out. It's our new partner here for this coming season. Very excited about this opportunity. Sorare Major League Baseball. You can, or partners with Major League Baseball now, and now partners with our channel. In the description, you can find the link. Go click that link and you can go get started completely for free. So let's get back to going over this weekend's action. So, taking a look here, we got the Braves and the Nationals. I'm going to run through this one pretty quickly. Not a whole lot going on here in this series. The Nationals did pick up the win today, though. Look at that. Mackenzie Gore had himself a pretty good start today. Went 5 1/3, struck out 6. But that was pretty much it for the Nationals. Dominic Smith contributed here today. The Nationals basically just had a big first inning, and the Braves, they couldn't do anything off of Mackenzie Gore. So, hey, look out for Gore, man. This is a guy who was a top pitching prospect. I feel like he has just not fully found his way. But let's see, man. I'm waiting to see what kind of a season he can have for the Nationals. But for the Braves, not really a whole lot. They just played great baseball this past weekend. Spencer Strider, he was dominant on Saturday. 6 innings, 9 Ks. Looking like Spencer Strider from last year. Matt Olson with a couple of homers on Saturday. The Braves looked really good in the first couple of games. Didn't look amazing today. The pitching wasn't awful with the Braves today. Schuster, he gave up 4 going into the 5th inning. But then they had a good performance from their very deep bullpen. So overall, the Braves look good in this series, but hey, Mackenzie Gore looked pretty good today. Let's go to the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. Man, that opening day game between those two, wow. That was a very crazy opening day game. And right now the Cardinals, man, they're looking really good. I've seen some people say about the Blue Jays, they're going to be a disappointing team this year. I'm very high on the Blue Jays this year. But, man, they did not pitch well in this series. Just looked really bad. Chris Bassett looked really bad in this game. If we go take a look at the box score, he gave up 9 runs in 3 1/3. What in the world is going on with Chris Bassett? He gave up 4 home runs today. What the heck is going on with Chris Bassett? That is just, oof. What in the world? Bullpen looked good for the Blue Jays, so there was a good sign there. But this Cardinals offense today, they were just on fire, man. 9 runs in this one. Taking a look here, Nolan Gorman, man, star of the show for the Cardinals. A couple of home runs, 4 RBIs. Burleson had a couple of doubles today, 2 RBIs. Cardinals offense, it's a good lineup. It's a very good lineup. You need to pitch well against this lineup. There are not a lot of breaks in this lineup, man. Very deep. We had a Jack Flaherty sighting this past weekend. Jack Flaherty had one of the most interesting starts. 5 innings. He gave up no hits, but he walked 7 guys. Hey, his ERA is 0. That's all you can say. He gave up no hits. So I guess, all right, good. But he's got to obviously cut down on the walks. But Jack Flaherty, hey, you know what I'm happy about with Jack Flaherty is just he's healthy. That's what I want to see out of Flaherty, man. The Cardinals need a guy like him to just really flourish at the top of that rotation. They're missing that. If Flaherty can, remember, people were thinking Flaherty, this is the next big ace for the Cardinals, but he just hasn't been there health-wise. If he can just be the guy that he can be, good stuff, man, this rotation and this team would look so much different with him performing well at the top of the rotation. But overall, Cardinals, yeah, sure, pretty rough opening day there, but in the end, they end up winning this series, and they're looking pretty good after this first series. Let's take a look at the Brewers and the Cubs. And actually, where is it? Brewers and the Cubs. The Brewers today, hey, they're putting up some runs. Jesse Winker looking pretty good in this one today. 2 for 3, 3 RBIs. We're all expecting Jesse Winker to do a lot better this year. And hey, looking pretty good so far. I feel like you didn't see a whole lot of these games with the Mariners, right? Driving in runs, working the counts, getting some hits. Patrick Wisdom today, despite a Cubs loss, had a couple of home runs. So, hey, good for him. Turang today, he was getting it done. Had a double, a couple of walks, RBI, a couple of runs scored. Overall, for the Brewers, looking pretty good in this series, taking 2 out of 3. The Brewers, actually, and the Cubs pitched really well on Saturday. Woodruff, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned, 8 strikeouts. Justin Steele, 6 innings, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts for the Cubs. Very good pitching matchup there. But then William Contreras for the Brewers, 2 RBIs on a bloop single in the 8th to win it. So, hey, that move, the Brewers jumping in on that Sean Murphy trade, already paying dividends for them. But overall, Brewers look pretty solid in this series. Corbin Burns got hit around a little bit on opening day. But, hey, in the end, Brewers looking solid to open things up. Let's go to the Guardians and the Mariners. They had a pretty fun series this past weekend. But I'm going to say this, man. The Guardians, they really took it to the Mariners here. Mariners off to a pretty tough start, 1-3. I'm telling you all, I was telling you all this. Mike Zunino, I was telling you all of this. I even did a video on underrated signings from this past offseason. I told all of you, look out for Mike Zunino. Hey, man, Mike Zunino's looking pretty good so far. Had the home run today. Had a home run, 3 RBIs, a couple of doubles as well. He even looked pretty good on Friday. He was contributing in that game. Hey, Mike Zunino, man, glad to see that he's healthy and not doing damage against my Red Sox like he was with the Rays. But overall, Cleveland, they won today 6-5. And yesterday, Savali and Gilbert, they both pitched well. Good little pitching duel between those two. But in the end, Andres Jimenez had the home run. That was the difference there. And Guardians able to squeak by that win. The Guardians bats, though, on Friday. Oof, Stephen Kwan, 5 RBIs in that game. Man, oh, man. That bullpen for the Mariners, too. They went 5 1/3 shutout innings out of that bullpen. That Mariners bullpen is legit. All right, they just got some bad starting pitching in that game. Who was that? Robbie Ray? I think it was Robbie Ray in that game, I believe. But overall, hey, some good signs from the Mariners this past series. But Cleveland, man, they really showed they're looking like a good team yet again. Let's go out to the National League West. We got a few games here to talk about before we wrap things up. Let's take a look here. We had, where is the Dodgers and the A's? Not the A's, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Fun series. This is a fun series. I actually think this is one of the more underrated series this past weekend. The Diamondbacks, I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. The Diamondbacks, look, they're going to be a good team this year, man. I've been saying this for months now. I told all of you, look out for the Diamondbacks in 2023. And they took it to the Dodgers today. Had a pretty interesting win here today. It was late in the game, very close game. Corbin Carroll, he stole second base. And McCarthy had a drag bunt. Jake McCarthy with the drag bunt. Gratterall tried to make the play, dropped the ball. And that was able to allow Lourdes Gurriel to score from third. And in the end, Diamondbacks squeaking by with the very close 1-run win on the road. Gotta love that, man. Diamondbacks, they won this game today, man. They're playing some small ball. You gotta love that. I love when a team breaks out the small ball to help win a game, man. Oh, we got the main event for WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. I'm predicting The Rock shows up in this one. I'm predicting it. It's going to be chaos. This is going to be a fun main event. The Rock better show up here, I swear. He's been rumored to go to WrestleMania for months, and he never does it. Anyway, that's what I'm predicting. But main event of WrestleMania is on, everyone. This is also a wrestling channel now. I'm just kidding. This is not a wrestling channel. But Saturday, Dodgers bats, man. They went off. They scored 10 runs in that one. Trace Thompson. 3 homers in that game, 8 RBIs. That dude was going off, man. But what the heck is going on? Madison Bumgarner, I think the Diamondbacks, they got to cut ties. They got to cut ties with that guy. They got to take him out of the rotation. I'm sorry. He doesn't have it. He is throwing meatballs. Dude, he should open up a restaurant. Madison's Meatballs. I'm sorry. That guy needs to get out of that rotation. I'm sorry, man. He was amazing with the San Francisco Giants. Huge playoff picture. If I'm the Diamondbacks, I'm sorry. Like, I'm only giving this guy maybe 1 or 2 more starts. But he looked dreadful, man. He looked dreadful. That had a nice ring to it. Madison's Meatballs. I think that was that could be something. So I would go there. If that was actually like a restaurant, I would absolutely eat there. Nice good old meatball sub. You can't beat that. But Bumgarner, please stop throwing meatballs over the plate. Clayton Kershaw, on the other hand, looked really good in that game. Old friend, Red Sox legend, JD Martinez with a home run in that game. He's got a different looking swing. All right, a different looking stance. You know, after last year, I think his arms are lower a little bit. I need to actually like look and compare it, but there is a difference with his swing or with his stance. But going back to the first game, Diamondbacks, Kyle Lewis had a home run in that game, man. Hey, Kyle Lewis, I'm really hoping this guy can revitalize his career. Rookie of the year in 2020. Hasn't really done a whole lot. He's been injured the last couple of years. But, hey, good for him to do something good. And, hey, Dre Jameson looked really good coming out of the bullpen. 4 innings, 2 hits, and he ended up getting the win. Dustin May, he looked really good for the Dodgers in that game, too. Look out for Dustin May this year, man. He's going to be really good. And I think that's maybe why the Dodgers didn't really go out and go crazy with starting pitching. Well, mainly because they're going to go after Shohei Ohtani next year. And that's an obvious. I think that's what they're saving their money for. But I think they also thought, too, hey, Dustin May is really good. And this guy's he's going to throw some gems for us this year. So I think they're very high on him. And I am, too. His stuff is just nasty. When he puts it together, oof. It's going to be nasty. Let's go to the Padres and the Rockies. Old friend Xander Bogaerts, crying myself to sleep every single night. He is looking pretty good so far with the San Diego Padres. Gotta love it. He's got a couple of home runs from this past weekend. Trent Grisham homered today. Gotta love that. You know, I'm gonna also give some credit here to the Rockies. You know, you got this electric Padres team coming out of the gates. The Rockies are on the road in San Diego. No one is liking the Rockies this year, but hey, 2-2, you know, through the first 4, splitting it with the Padres. Some people have the Padres winning the World Series. I think Giraffe Neck Mark has the Padres winning the World Series, or does he? Or no, he has the Astros winning the World Series. He has the Astros beating the Padres in the World Series. And hey, look at Giraffe Neck Mark. I think he has the Mets losing early in his playoff predictions. Man. Look at Giraffe Neck Mark. Now it's going to be Giraffe Neck Robbie. I'm sorry. I'm going to start being more biased about my Red Sox than Mark is going to be about his Mets. Who would have thought? But overall, taking a look here, split series, Bogaerts looking pretty good so far, hitting a couple of dingers. Had a hit on opening day as well. Taking a look at the box score. Here we go. Yeah, but Bogaerts, a couple RBIs there at the top. Not a whole lot of scoring here, but if we go take a look at the pitching, Seth Lugo looked really good in this one. 7 innings, 4 hits allowed, 7 Ks. Did give up a homer, but, man, he looked really good. Padres debut, give him a lot of credit there. And overall, you know, the Padres, you know, I feel like they did this last year. I can't fully remember if they got off to a bit of a slow start last year, but they're going to be fine. But could the Rockies end up being something? Could they end up being something here? If we actually go take a look at the Rockies pitching, who pitched for them today? It was Gomber. You know, Gomber didn't look all that bad. You know, 6 innings, 3 earned, struck out 4. You know, not amazing by any means. Got the loss. But, hey, this was a winnable game for the Rockies. But Seth Lugo, he was just dishing out here, man. He was just dishing. But I think I have covered everything from this past weekend. I've given my thoughts. The Pirates and the Reds getting the win. Didn't talk about that one. I can take a quick look at that one. I know everyone's thinking, oh, this is a National League Championship Series preview. I know everyone's waiting. You know, this is big time right here, Reds and the Pirates. But not a whole lot of scoring in this one. Looking at O'Neal Cruz hitting a healthy 400 to start the year. Velasquez pitching for the Pirates today. Good old Vince Velasquez. Ashcraft looked really good for the Reds today. 7 innings, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts. And I feel like a lot of people, they focus on Lodolo, they focus on Green. But Ashcraft, I feel like, is decent. I keep your eyes out for him, man. I think he could kind of go under the radar. He went a bit under the radar last year. He had some good starts last year. So, everyone, I think I have covered everything just in time for the main event of WrestleMania. Honestly, this is really the only match I wanted to see tonight. But I'm going to get out of here. That's all I got for tonight. I appreciate everyone stopping by. Glad that you all like to tune in, watch my potato self, give my thoughts about baseball. But everyone, again, don't forget, we are partners out now with Sorare Fantasy Baseball. Please go check it out. Link is in the description. You can start for free. And let me know how it goes. And make a team. Go up against my team so I can kick the snot out of you. What can I say? Everyone, go have yourself a great night. I'm going to watch some good old fake wrestling because that makes me happy. Have yourself a great night. I'm going to try and start doing this a little more often. So look out for tomorrow night, maybe even Tuesday night, Wednesday night for sure. I usually like to do Wednesday and Sunday nights. But I would like to do more kind of nighttime recaps of the games, from that day or from that night. I would like to make that more of a consistent thing. So check out for tomorrow night as well. You'll probably see my face popping up somewhere. Everyone, have yourself a great night, and I'll talk to you next time.